There's Coco. Oh, what a stressful day. Here, get down. Jesus, man. So, Tasha is getting pretty old. She's a pug, so, it's everything's like more intense, with her aging. And she's overweight, unfortunately. And the thing is, like, we don't overfeed her. We don't give her a lot of treats or anything. These are the treats we give them. They're mini. And they're literally... Oh, Bailey found her squeaker. They're literally like this big. But, she's been going blind. Like, I've noticed this probably a couple years ago. Like, it seemed like right when she would wake up, like, it was really hard for her to see. And she would eventually do better throughout the day, and it's kind of progressively gotten worse. But I've done a lot of research, and it's fairly common for pugs. Actually for dogs in general that get old. But, we lived here for like 7 years now, so she knows, everything is we've changed furniture and stuff, but everything's generally in the same spot, so she's really comfortable, fortunately. She knows her way around, walking, like when she goes outside, she'll walk the perimeter of the yard, she knows, where to go and stuff. So she's really, really good at getting around. But I think she, like, it's really bad now, like, to the point where she's almost completely blind, because she wasn't completely blind before. You could go like this and she'd follow your hand and stuff like that. But now it's kind of like 50-50. Like, sometimes if we do this, she'll see it, sometimes she doesn't. But I think it's just, to be honest, I feel like it might be like a sort of like a depression. Shelby's kind of thinking the same thing after we looked up a bunch of stuff. But the other day when I woke up and went to work, so here's how our day goes. I wake up for work usually around 4, and I try to be out the door by like 4:30, 4:40. So my routine is usually a quick shower, come downstairs, get dressed. I come down, everyone thinks that's so weird. I come downstairs, I get dressed down here and get ready down here, just because, Shelby's up there sleeping. I don't want to, turn the light on and be loud and stuff. Trying to find a spot to, like, prop my phone up, because our tripod and all that stuff's moved. Okay, here we go. Hopefully you guys can see pretty good. But, so then when I'm basically all ready to go, or as I'm getting ready, I will go let them out, so they can do their business, use the bathroom, and then bring them back in. And they've got, like, we keep them in the utility room at night, which is, like I'm not gonna say big, but plenty of room for them to get up and move around. It's not a cage or anything like that. They've got 2 different beds in there. They've got their water. It's plenty of room. They can get up and move around and play even if they want. Then I go to work, and then Shelby usually gets up. This is, by like 4:40-ish or so. And then Shelby usually gets up around, usually anywhere between like 9 and like 11 o'clock in the morning. So she'll get up, obviously let them out again and stuff like that. But the other morning, I let her, she is a deep sleeper. Like, there's been times where, she's just like, laying in the bed sideways, and I'm like, come on, let's go. I can't say it right now. I was like, come on, let's go OUTSIDE. Bailey's looking at me. She's like, what are you saying? But I'll say that, and, these two will wake right up, and they're, at the door, hopping around, ready to go. And Tasha will still be just sound asleep. And I'm like, I've got to go, like, kind of nudge her, and then she's like, huh? What? It takes her a minute to get up. She is old, so, it usually takes her a minute to kind of, like, wake up and stretch and whatnot, and then she goes out. But it was just, she woke up, and, like, she was not anxious at all to go outside. Like, she just seemed, like, out of it, I guess. And then when I finally did get her, I kind of, like, basically just had to, like, not, I don't want to say force, like I was rude or, like, harsh or something, but, like, kind of, like, make her get up and go out. She would, kind of went to the porch and just, like, she didn't want to move around. Like, she didn't walk off the porch, so I had to, kind of guide her down there. And just, like, your animals, if you have animals, I'm sure kids are kind of similar, like, but kids can actually talk. But something was off. Like, I noticed it. But, she still used the bathroom. She came back in. And then, so they're really good with the routine. Like, they know Like when I go to bed or when I'm going to bed, I'll let them out, and then they don't even try to come back out in the living room and stuff. They'll go, right to their beds and lay down and get comfy. And then same thing in the morning when they come back in, they know, it's still time for night, and they go right back to sleep or whatever. But I had came out here, and Tasha was drinking, and I had to go back in there a couple times, so I didn't close the door. And I went back in there, and she wasn't in there. She was out here in her big, like we've got a bigger, plush bed out here, and she was just sideways, like completely passed out. And I'm like, not passed out, but like already sound asleep. And I'm like, it's really, really, really unlike her. I'm like, maybe I don't know, maybe she was warm in there or something. But so, she got back up. She went in there like normal. I left the door open, so, it was same exact temperature in both rooms. But then that same day, Shelby had called me when she was getting ready to leave for work. She's like, hey, keep an eye on Tasha. I just know she's acting different. We basically said the same thing. I was like, I noticed it too. And, unfortunately with her age... Sorry, I had to stop the video for a second. With her age, unfortunately, we kind of expect the worst. Just seeing such a drastic change like that so quick, we kind of expected something bad. But I got home from work that day. There was still definitely something up. Like, she wasn't acting like fully herself. But I noticed, like, when she struggles to see, like, you'll see her kind of like walk, and she knows where things are, but she'll kind of hesitate, like almost like she kind of like maybe is like gets out of orientation, doesn't know exactly where she's at. And I noticed her doing that a lot more. Like usually that would be like right when she would wake up, she'd kind of move around really fast or something. She'd kind of like walk and like literally move her head back like she was gonna bump into something. But like I said, she was really good at getting around. She still is actually, but I just something was off, and like I still really couldn't pinpoint it other than saying she was just like lethargic. Here, brother, come here. Come on. Say hi to the camera. Hi. So, I was just totally pampering her and babying her when I got off work, and I was laying down there on the floor next to her bed, and she gave me a couple little kisses on the nose, and everything, like she was acting different, but like she was still herself, you know what I mean? Like something was off, but like she was still herself, if that makes sense. So we've really been paying attention. She uses the bathroom just fine. She eats, she drinks water. So those are like the number one signs of like when there, is an issue. Usually there'll be issues, eating or drinking or using the bathroom, both number one and number two. And she's doing all that. So I'm like, maybe she's just, at the point where she's like completely blind now, and it's just, it's kind of like a burden on her, I don't know, maybe it just got to a point where it's bothering. Bailey, quit licking my hand. Maybe it's just gotten to a point where it's like bothering her, so we were thinking about that. But these ones are really, really active, like they don't do good on walks. Like we put a leash or, even a harness on them and stuff. They just want to yank and pull and run. And this one barks at every single leaf that's on the ground. So they don't go on a lot of walks. Tasha loves them, but she also yanks. And because she's a pug, when you're yanking, like it's choking her. So she starts breathing real hard. And I really don't like doing it. But she loves them. Like literally, goes ape shit for him. She loves him. So I grabbed her collar, and she knows the sound of it because it's like one of those metal ones, so it like clanks. And she sat right up in bed, and she put her let me put the collar on, and then she jumped right up and went to the door. Like, so she literally immediately went back to one, like acting like 100% like herself. And we went out. She was like kind of scratching at the door, like really anxious while I was putting my shoes on. And, we walked down the street, we went to the park and stuff and walked around, and she was 1,000% herself. She peed 50 million times to mark her spot. She smelled every post and pole we walked around. She went number 2, 3 different times. The faster I walked, the faster she went. Like, we were speed walking at times. She was pulling me where she wanted to go. And she just like, it immediately, like her attitude and, personality went from here all the way back up to here. And I'm like, she's okay. I think she, honestly, like, I think she's depressed. Like, I think she's going through, like, some kind of depression because of her eyes. And, so I got home today. If you guys follow Shelby's channel, she was live when I got home. And the reason I wasn't really on camera much was, Tasha was over here in the background. Like, her camera was kind of facing, like, this way from where I'm sitting now. And Tasha is over here in the corner by her TV in her bed. But she was, like, sitting up, like, and she looked just really uncomfortable. And she was, like, kind of breathing shallow. And I'm like, the whole time, like, I was focused on her more than anything. And, they were in and out of the house. And we've got, like, one window AC thing down here that keeps our whole downstairs cool, and it does a really good job. But today it's like 90 something degrees and it's humid, and they've been in and out of the house, so like it's kind of struggling. It was like 70, I think it was like 76 in here, honestly, but it still felt good compared to outside. But for poor Tasha, that's pretty warm, and she's just sitting there. She started panting, and it kind of just made my heart drop. I'm like, she's not, and because I came from being at hot work all day and then, walking from my car through this nasty hot into the house felt great to me. But I didn't also realize that they had just got back in the house and, Tasha and them were in the back room and it was warmer in there. She was warm from that. She was trying to cool down, but, she's laying in a thick wool bed. So she was hotter there, but I didn't know that at this time. So, I'm focused on her. I'm like, I had gotten up a couple times when they were on camera. I gave her a treat, and I was petting her and stuff, and she seemed all right, but she was just breathing weird. And when Jake and Angry Grandma left, it just, I was like, I think we need to make her a vet appointment. Like, and we've been talking about that. We don't, like, want to avoid that or something like that, but I was like, I think we need to make her an appointment. Like, she just, it was something off again. But then, so get this. So I was like, that's when I looked at the thermostat and realized it was like 76, 77 in here, like it was warm, and I'm like, oh shoot. So I went out in the garage, I got my fan from the garage, like my box fan. I put it in front of her bed on low. Literally 2 minutes later, she stopped panting. She laid in bed, kind of like sprawled out, and she is out like a light now. She is sound asleep. But like when I say that, though, like she's acting perfectly fine. Like once she cooled down before she laid down, she was perfectly fine. So this dog had me worried sick, like to a point like me and Shelby literally had, a little emotional time for a minute. Just, expecting the worst. Like, we think she's 10. We don't know how old she was when we got her, but she's a purebred pug. When she had her puppies, the vet estimated her to be around 3 years old, I think 3 to 4 years old. And that was, I think, 6 going on 7 years ago. So she's got to be like between 9, 10, 10 and a half, something like that. And for a pug that is old, I think the average lifespan is like 11 to 13 years or something like that. And, her puppies were a rough birth. Like she had, I think, one of them naturally. And then she had a C-section I think she had 2. And then we had to rush her to the vet for an emergency C-section for the other 2. And, they had to cut her open and they fixed her at the same time. They had a tube down her throat. She was on all kinds of stuff. And when we got her fixed, she did great. There was no complications or anything like that. She recovered really good and stuff. But when she got fixed, she became she got massive, compared to what she was. She was actually a tiny pug. Like before she got pregnant, she was not underweight, anything like that, but she was smaller than average. She's a purebred, full pug. But now she's a thick girl. So obviously she's hotter. It's harder for her to breathe because of it. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword because, like, I would love to take her for walks because Lord knows I need to go for walks, but she's big, so we can't go far. And then, like, that would be good for, her weight, help kind of manage her weight. But at the same time, bad for her poor little paw pads and, just her joints and stuff. And she gets winded, and she just like, once she start, if she gets really hot, like it's perfectly normal, how she pants for a pug, but it just, it bothers me when she does it. Like, I hate, even let her get that warm. So it kind of sucks. It's like, do I take her for a walk, and the poor thing comes back home, gasping for air, trying to cool down for, a half hour? But do I not go for a walk? And she's not gaining weight or anything like that. She needs to lose a few pounds. So I think we're gonna wait. I mean, this is what I've been doing though. Like, we've been walking her at night when the sun goes down, when the temperature is a lot more manageable. But yeah, so earlier though, before we had got the fan, we pretty much made the choice. We're making a vet appointment. At least a checkup for them to look at her, and tell us what they think. So we called our normal vet that she goes to. Well, like the one that she had the puppies at, and got a checkup at before and stuff. We wanted to take her right now. They didn't have anything until tomorrow at I don't know, it was 11 o'clock or noon or something like that. So she was like, okay, we're trying to find somewhere that has a spot now. So we called a few other ones. They were booked up, and they just kept referring us to the the emergency hospital one, which is down in Toledo. And just taking her to that one just to go there is going to be hundreds of dollars, which is going to be which there's no price that would make me be like, it's not worth it. That's literally this might sound dumb to you, but if you guys have dogs, you probably understand. If you guys love your animals like we do, no amount of money would make me say no, we're not going to do it or something like that. You know what I mean? That's like a child to me. She's one of my children essentially, basically, without being human. And but with that also being said, I don't want to unnecessarily spend every dime that we have to our names, for them to just be like, yeah, she's probably all right, just keep an eye on her. If she gets worse, bring her back and, spend another $1,000. Like when she had her puppies, it was $4,000 or something like that. It was insane. We had to apply for 2 different credit cards to be able to cover it. But I was just I really don't want to take her to an emergency place. And truthfully, because she is eating and drinking, she'll eat treats, she's not refusing food, and she's not using the bathroom and stuff like that. So I'm I think it's just in our heads that it's an emergency. We want an answer right now, but I was let's try to call other vets and get her in, even if it's tomorrow. I was call the one back, take the appointment tomorrow. We called back. It was 5 minutes after we had called. 5 minutes. She was like, oh, I'm sorry that spot's been filled. So their next one wasn't for... God, I don't even remember what she said. It was something ridiculous. We called another one that had good reviews. They were out until the second week of September. What is the deal with with vets right now? How are you guys, any other time of the year before this coronavirus stuff, we could have called and had her in today or tomorrow morning. No issue whatsoever. Period. Ever. For any pets we have, my mom with her cats, anything. Now, this coronavirus is everybody getting their pets checked out or what? I don't understand it. But I don't know. So it had me frustrated. But then we called another local place that had good reviews. We got her appointment Friday. Shelby works, unfortunately, so I'll have to take her after work. But yeah, though, we put that fan on her though, and she just went from 0 to 100. She quit panting. She laid right down and got comfy. She's more responsive and stuff. So I really think that she's okay. I know she needs to lose weight, and we're gonna work on that. They might give us a special a diet food or something for her. But I'm definitely gonna take her on walks more, at least once a day. Even if it's just up and down the road when it gets dark. But yeah, so that's been my day today. After having a horrible day at work, we were there till 4 o'clock, so that was absolutely terrible. Venting here. So some good stuff. So Shelby is going to Tennessee, which I think I mentioned that in another video. If not, I'm sure she's mentioned it. Her sister, her brother, and Caleb are going down there next month, and I don't remember the town and it's like the Gatlinburg area where like all the tourist stuff is. I'm really jealous. I wish I could go, but unfortunately my factory job could give a crap less about me, and if you don't have call-off days, then they don't care. Like, I could go in there with a doctor's note. Like, I could break my arm, go in there tomorrow with a doctor's note, say, hey, my doctor wrote me off for 2 weeks because of my arm, I can't work. Doesn't matter. I don't have call-off days. That's it. Even if I have call-off days, I can only use up to 5 days with a doctor's note. That's a whole venting video right there. But anyways, they're going down there. I'm unfortunately unable to go, but I'm kind of low-key happy because I'll be able to be home with the dogs. I gotta work, but I'll be home at night with the dogs and during the day. And especially be able to keep Tasha company, make sure everything's good with her. But I've got a surprise planned out for Shelby when she gets back, and I'm possibly more excited than she's gonna be about it, but I can't wait. I'm hoping I can have it done in like 2 days. I gotta work, so I gotta work on it like after work. And I'm not gonna tell you guys what it is because you guys will comment on her video or she'll watch this video, so I'm not saying anything. Don't even try to drag it out of me because it's not gonna work. But it should actually make a pretty cool video too. Cool before and after, I guess, or like a progress. And it'll be a project that I start and finish within a couple days, which is mind-blowing. But yeah, so I'm really excited for that. Can't wait to show you guys what it is because I think you guys will like it too. But yeah, I just wanted to record and tell you guys how Tasha's doing, and Bailey and Coco are doing 1,000% okay. Still ungodly hyper. They're all curled up in their bed right now. I think they like that fan. That's funny. I never even thought to grab the fan and put it in front of the bed for her when it does get warmer like this. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. Just kind of like a talking, not really much happened. Letting them out before work. I let Tasha out the front. She was really excited to go out the back again. Bailey, come here. Okay, Tasha, come on. I gotta go to work. Hey. You good girl? Okay, buddy. Oh. I'm waiting for everyone to get back. Camera shy. Camera shy.